welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Jeffrey Cooperstein here with you guys. Draft week is officially here, and today is the first day of the NBA offseason. It's been offseason for the Mavs for a couple of months now, but with the Thunder winning the title last night, we are in full-blown offseason mode here on the channel, so it's time to ramp the content up. We start today with the big story over the weekend for the Mavericks, which is Sean Sweeney leaving the Mavs for the San Antonio Spurs. Sweeney was the lead assistant on the Mavericks coaching staff for the last 4 seasons. He was with Jason Kidd in both Brooklyn and Milwaukee in his coaching stops. And he's been with them for over a decade, and this is a big loss for the Dallas Mavericks, in my opinion. Sweeney was the defensive coordinator for this team. He was the architect of one of the better defenses in the NBA that led the Mavericks to the 2024 NBA Finals. He was Jason Kidd's right-hand man and trusted confidant, and now he heads to the rival San Antonio Spurs, who are a big up-and-coming team. They have the superstar in the making in Victor Wembanyama. They have Devin Vassell. They have the number 2 and 14 pick in the 2025 NBA Draft. So the Spurs are certainly up-and-coming, and he goes to a rival that the Mavericks are going to see 4 times. Now, I know that he's an assistant coach, and it may not seem like a big deal, but I do think that this is a pretty significant loss for the Mavericks. As like I said, Sweeney has been with Kidd for over a decade, and they trust each other pretty implicitly to make decisions and whatnot. And Sean is always the guy when the Mavericks are on the defensive side of the court, when they're closest to their bench. Sweeney is the one that's barking out instructions, and he's the one that's trying to call things out and whatnot. He was the architect of that defense, and I do think that Kidd is going to have to revamp some of his stuff, and he's going to have to change sort of his philosophies and his coaching staff and how all things work with him. And this isn't the first coaching loss that the Mavericks have had this offseason. They already lost Alex Jensen, who became the head coach at the University of Utah earlier this season. So the Mavs coaching staff going to look pretty significantly different over the next year or so. And we're honestly going to have even more change coming with the rumors of Shammgod and Jared Dudley both potentially on their way out. Jamal Mosley over in Orlando is rumored to want Shammgod on his coaching staff. Shammgod has been the ball handling coach for the Mavs for the last 6 or 7 years, and I do think that he would be maybe an even more significant loss than Sean Sweeney would be. And why, you ask? Shammgod is one of the most respected people in the NBA, not just as far as coaching, executives, and whatnot, people, period. He's an absolutely fantastic guy, and Kyrie Irving's closest confidant is Shammgod, who was on the Mavericks staff. They have gone way back. Shammgod knew Kyrie's father back when he was growing up in New Jersey. And so Kyrie's known him basically his entire life and looks to Shammgod as a mentor and whatnot. So that would be a big part of it. And also, I really think Sham would significantly help Cooper Flagg in the ball handling aspect of things. We're going to talk later today on the show in our second video about Cooper Flagg and his ball handling and what the Mavericks expect from him regarding that. You would think that the Mavericks would want to keep Shammgod at all costs in order to help Cooper Flagg's development, because I think the Mavs have designs on Flagg kind of being a little bit of a point forward, and that can only be assisted by the best ball handling coach in the world. I mean, the guy has a dribble named after him, the Shammgod. You see it, players doing it all the time. It's one of the most flashy and cool moves in the NBA, in my opinion. And that guy is on the Mavericks coaching staff and has been for a while. He's a very likable guy. He has great relationships all throughout the NBA. He literally knows everybody. I've never seen this. I'll go a little backstory here. When I was covering the Mavericks on a more full-time basis, like in the building and whatnot, I would sit on the floor and watch pregame warmups. I've seen LeBron come out a couple of times, and he just doesn't talk to anyone. When LeBron walked out in one of his first years with the Lakers and saw Shammgod, he gave him a big dap up. That's how respected Shammgod is in this league. So I think that would be a significant loss for the Mavericks. And Jared Dudley, not to discount him either, he's looked at as a future head coach in this league. He was on the Lakers coaching staff when they won the NBA championship, or I can't remember if he was a player or on the coach, but he was basically a coach. And he is expected to become a head coach in this league over the next couple of seasons, and losing him would be pretty significant as well, as I would expect if he were to stay, he would be one of the top 2 assistants on this team. And to be honest, I'm not sure what to make of all of these changes. I don't know if this is coming from the top and Nico Harrison telling Jason Kidd that he needs to revamp his staff and he needs to get Nico's guys in here. I don't know if this is a Jason Kidd directive where he's just trying to get fresh voices in his coaching staff to try to keep him fresh and keep him honest and implement new ideas with this new look team. I think it could be a little bit of both, but we'll find out over the next couple of days and weeks whether or not the Mavericks do end up basically fully revamping their entire coaching staff. And I did want to bring this note up from Mark Stein, who we've talked about Frank Vogel on this channel a few times before. And he said the natural response from Dallas is to sound out coaching consultant Frank Vogel about his willingness to move into Sweeney's chair, which would be the lead assistant. But Vogel has been very comfortable to this point to stay in a consulting role while awaiting his next head coaching opportunity. So Vogel was with the Mavericks last season. Obviously, Frank Vogel was the head coach of the Lakers when they won the 2020 NBA title, where Kidd was an assistant, and they do have a great relationship. But it does sound like Vogel is willing to wait part-time to try to get his next head coaching opportunity. And if he wants a head coaching opportunity in the next cycle, I do think that he'll get it. But I'll say this as well. If Vogel wants it, I do think the job is his. He'll become the lead assistant next to Jay Triano, and those two guys paired with Kidd as the head coach will make up the Mavericks' lead coaching staff, so to speak. Vogel is a very good coach, man. You don't win an NBA title by accident, even if you have LeBron James. I do think that he would be a big addition to the staff on a full-time basis. Even so, him being a consultant for the Mavs and Jason Kidd having Vogel as a sounding board, I do think is very good as well. So Mavericks coaching staff going to get a full new look next season probably. And hopefully, I would really like the Mavericks to keep Shammgod, man. I do think that would be a big loss. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because the peak of the offseason is here. Like I said, this is the first official day of the 2025 NBA offseason. Some big changes coming to the Dallas Mavericks here in the next couple of days and weeks. So hit that sub button, stay locked in, and turn on those notifications so you know when we go live or publish a video. And while you guys are hitting that subscribe button, go over and get your Mavericks Draft hat right now. Head to chatsports.com/Mav Draft. Our friends at Fanatics got you hooked up with either this fresh white one or the all blue one. This is what Cooper Flagg is going to be wearing on Wednesday when he walks across that stage and gives Adam Silver a hug as he's announced as the first overall pick in the 2025 NBA Draft. When you use that link, Fanatics will send us a part of the proceeds. So go get hooked up with our friends at Fanatics today. That link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. Shout out to Fanatics for sponsoring this episode of Mavericks Today. Tomorrow is the day for Kyrie Irving as his 2025-26 player option has to be accepted or declined by 10:59 Central Time tomorrow. It's a $42.9 million player option, and Kyrie will have a couple of options. He can either opt in and work out an extension with the Mavericks, which could be signed, I believe, as early as July 7th, or he can opt out and get a new contract with the Mavs, which can be agreed to, I believe, as early as now, where teams are able to negotiate with their own free agents. So either way, Kyrie's going to be a Maverick next season. I don't think there's any scenario where he ends up on another team. I don't think Brooklyn's going to throw the bag at him, and they're the only team with the full max slot available. Kyrie knows that he has it really good here. He's making a lot of money. There's not much, super crazy media criticism here. The Mavericks have really supported him in all his endeavors on and off the court. So I think Kyrie's happy here. I think the Mavs are happy to continue with Kyrie. It's just a matter of how they get that deal done. And the projected contract that I've kind of been seeing thrown around over the last couple of days is a three-year deal, player option on that third season with about $110 to $120 million in that deal. And I think that's fair. The Mavericks signed Kyrie to that 3-year, $120 million deal in the summer of 2023. So it's definitely possible that it's just basically the same deal that he signed earlier, and they let him rehab that first half of the season, and he'll come back, be out probably on a minutes restriction, and then next season he'll be full go back with the Mavericks again. So I'm more than willing to give Kyrie this deal. The Mavericks need Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie needs the Mavs as well. So this is pretty much basically a done deal. It's just working out the details of how exactly it gets done. Let me know what you guys think, though. Will Kyrie accept or decline his option? If you think it's an accept and he's going to opt in and extend his deal, type A, or if you think he declines it and the Mavericks and Kyrie work out a new deal, type D down below. Let me know what you guys think. Another move that the Mavericks made over the weekend is Dwight Powell. Well, the Mavericks didn't make it. Dwight Powell made it. He exercised his $4 million player option for next season. So he will be on the Mavericks for, I believe, his 13th season in blue and white. He's the longest tenured Maverick, dating back to the Rajon Rondo trade in December of 2014. And the Mavericks are happy to have Dwight Powell in a role where he's not playing very often and is seen as a team ambassador and a team leader. As you can see, his production has gone down the last 4 seasons in each year. His minutes have gone down in the last season of each year. And if the Mavericks have a center problem where either Lively or Gafford or Anthony Davis end up getting hurt, you can throw Dwight Powell in there for 10 to 15 minutes a night, and he's not going to absolutely kill you. Now, he's going to get cooked on the defensive end, and you have to be willing to live with that. He's going to be an absolute minus on that end. But on the offensive end, he can play the pick and roll at a pretty effective level, and he can do some things that the Mavericks offense asked of their centers. So do you want him on the floor for more than 10 minutes a night? No, you do not. If the Mavericks are fully healthy, do you want him on the floor at all? No, you do not. That's why he's the 15th guy on the bench, and he's just there for the moral support. He's there basically as an extension of the coaching staff, as a liaison to the coaching staff between the players and the coaches in the front office and whatnot. Powell is the guy everyone loves and respects in the locker room, so for $4 million to have that guy on the bench, I don't think that's a big deal. I'm happy that he's back in Dallas for his, it seems, maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like his 12th or 13th season here, which is absolutely crazy to think about because I still remember the Rajon Rondo trade like it was yesterday. But Dwight Powell exercised his option. It is possible that the Mavericks could use that $4 million in a trade here in the coming days and weeks, but I tend to doubt it. I think they value Powell as a team asset, and I don't think Powell is going to be a make or break in any potential trade that the Mavs would ever make. So Dwight Powell back, Kyrie Irving going to be back too. We'll just see in what capacity. Later today on the show in our second video, everything I'm hearing surrounding Cooper Flagg 48 hours away from the NBA draft. I've heard some pretty interesting things from people around the Mavs. So hit that subscribe button, stay locked in, be on the lookout for this video later today. And as always, let's go Mavs.